Hello, everybody, and welcome back to CWK Live every Monday night at 8 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. I am your host, Dan Z. Thrilled to be here with each and every one of you talking some Star Wars. Well, what is going on in your world? In our world, it is cold. I'm talking -2. I think the high today was 0. So that's crazy, right? And if you hear my dog barking, it's because she is very excited to spend tonight talking with each and every one of you all about Star Wars. Again, I'm your host, Dan T. Thrilled to be here with each and every one of you. We've got a lot of our friends here with us tonight, so let's go ahead and bring everybody in. Josh is here. It's like Antarctica where we are too, Josh. Good to have you. Ethan, great to have you. LJ says, anyone else questioning why they still live in the Midwest, or is it just me? It is not just you. It is not just you. No, it's cold. The fall's beautiful, and snow's great. You know, mostly I'm more of a December snow kind of a guy. And then once we get to, February and it's the high is 0, and come on, who are we kidding here? But it's all good. It all works out. Hello to Minta. Of course, LJ is here. Mason is here driving Mrs. Zare's Facebook. Good to see you, Mason. It's like I just saw you, buddy. Tyler is here. Tyler, I still have that surprise for you that I'm going to bring to you sometime this week, so you and I will chat soon. Mary, thank you. We are staying warm. It's nice and warm and cozy here in the Coffee with Kenobi Studios, for sure. Let's see, who else is here to join us? Daniel is here. Hello, Daniel. Jason said, it's so cold here, I saw tauntauns in my yard yesterday. Well, Jason, that is cold, and it's better than wampas, I suppose, so very good. Josh likes snowy weather, but he definitely gets it. We're expected to get a foot this week. Yeah, and it's great. Carter's here. Carter, are you as excited as I am that tomorrow is a remote day? So we got the call, about an hour ago that tomorrow, because of the snow and the wind and the roads are so challenging, that we're going to have a remote learning day tomorrow. So I'm ready. As a teacher, I'm ready. Carter, I am sure you're ready too. And Carter, I want to hear all about how chess went for you this weekend. Minta says, I thought they smelled bad on the outside. That's right. Those tauntauns, they'll get you every time. Hello, Jamie. Hey, my cousin Raquel is back. Remember, longtime listeners of the show know that Raquel is the person that first told my parents, hey, it's okay for Dan and his brother Sean to see Star Wars because it's going to be safe. Back in the day, we weren't allowed to see PG movies, but Raquel saw it, and Raquel, this is all your fault, kind of, so thank you for that. Very good. Tyler says, I've got the goods for you as well. Awesome. Carter, yes, that's very good news, buddy. Very, very exciting stuff. All right. It's going to be very exciting here. Oh, I've got a weird little message here. What's going on here? Use echo cancellation. Hopefully there was no echo. Rachel, good to have you here. Looking forward to this week's top 5. Good. Yes, this week's top 5 is going to be top 5 favorite Star Wars villains. We've been going through top 5s of favorite character moments. We've gone through a lot of the original trilogy characters. Went through some Clone Wars stuff. Eventually I want to get to Rebels. But yes, today is going to be top 5 Star Wars villains. Let's go ahead and take a look at what is brewing in the world of Star Wars this week.
And now, let's see what's brewing in the Star Wars universe this week.
Yes, thank you, Tom. Again, continued thoughts and prayers to Tom Kane, the voice of Yoda for Star Wars, the Clone Wars, and Star Wars Rebels, as well as countless video games, the Star Wars Lego Holiday Special, so many other things. He's just a great man. He had a stroke over the holiday season, and recovery. I think he's healthy. He's doing well, but he's having a hard time getting his voice back to where he needs it to get. So please keep Tom in your prayers. We certainly think very highly of him here on Coffee with Kenobi. All right, Minta says, since we're getting more snow in the Northeast, it wouldn't surprise me to see a Wampa. Well, it's true. I mean, I guess there are strange things that have happened, right? So what's brewing in the world of Star Wars this week? Again, The High Republic continues to be a very, very popular book series. Always on the New York Times bestseller list. Claudia Gray's new book, Into the Dark, it was the number 1 New York Times bestseller for young adult literature, so that's tremendous. And all of your feedback has been great about our spoiler-free reviews of all the books. We're going to do one for Claudia's book very, very soon as well. But besides that, merchandise-wise, a couple of things. I guess it's not necessarily, merchandise related. Well, I guess it's kind of merchandise related. What we've got going on here is we got a reveal on StarWars.com. Dan Brooks, the head editor of StarWars.com, pointed this out, and it was, of course, on StarWars.com's Twitter feed. But there is a preview for something, Boba Fett Nowhere to Hide. And that is very, very interesting. We don't know what that means, but the way Charles Soule commented on it was kind of promising, I thought. But I guess we're going to get more information about that tomorrow. So that's good news. That's exciting. It'd be good to get some cool stuff. Tyler says he saw that Yak Face was hinting at an FX Ray yellow lightsaber. Oh, I don't know. That's interesting. I hadn't heard anything about that at all. Another fun thing, I saw this on StarWars.com, and I'm sure a lot of you had too. Check this out. They're selling an action figure that is sort of a hybrid of Din Djarin if he were a samurai, an ancient samurai. This is just one of the many, many pictures that are out there. Go to StarWars.com. The figure is expensive. It is $100, actually. $100. So that is well out of my Coffee with Kenobi budget. I mean, it's a beautiful figure if anybody gets it. I'm thinking a lot of members of this in the CWK Cafe maybe sharing or getting these. So if you get one, be sure to send us a picture in the CWK Cafe, which of course is our Facebook group that we have, and we have a great time over there talking Star Wars. It's family friendly, it's positive, it's spoiler free, and we share pictures of our collections. There's great little debates all the time, so it's really, really fun. Minta digs the figure. Yeah, Minta, it's a great looking figure. Mason saw it tonight, and he thought it was really, really cool as well. All right, I love it. Well, I'll tell you what, I think that's pretty much it, unless anybody else has any topics they want to talk about. I know there's a lot of other controversial stuff going on out there, but we're going to stick primarily with Star Wars and just putting a smile on your faces and giving you a break, a respite from everything that's going on in the world. We're just going to focus on what we love about this galaxy so far, far away. But it's not that far, far away, is it? Let's go ahead and take a look at our top 5 favorite Star Wars villains. Here we go. All right, actually, let's see. Tyler says, missed that Mando figure. They've done a bunch of figures like that. The Darth Maul one is my personal favorite. Yeah, they're all really nice, but $100 is a lot of money. But don't get me wrong, if they want to send me one to review it, you know I'm happy to do it. I somebody's got to sacrifice, right? No, hey, if you get one, that's fantastic. It is a very, very beautiful looking figure. Let's go ahead and look again at our top 5. Today we've got your top 5 Star Wars villains. Favorite Star Wars villains. Okay, let's see what everybody has. Mason and I had fun. This was actually, it was fun to fill this one out because while there's certainly things that I thought of, as far as, weighing what to put in, this was easier than some of the top 5s for the characters we've been doing recently. I don't know how all of you feel. Hopefully you found it a little bit easier as well. So, first of all, I'll give you Mason's number 5. Mason's number 5 is Boba Fett. And if you play against Mason in Star Wars Battlefront, if he is Boba Fett or another character I'm going to mention on his list, you're in trouble. He's pretty good. He's pretty good with those figures, or with those characters in Star Wars Battlefront. So my number 5 favorite Star Wars villain is Marchion Ro. Marchion Ro, I believe that's how I pronounce it. It looks like that's Mary's favorite as well. I didn't think I was going to put this character, and it's very, very early. He's been around for about 5 minutes, it seems like, and there's certainly much, much more to learn about him. But his motivation, his power, the way he's able to manipulate and stay in control of situations, and that kind of catastrophe that he's created that causes complete havoc on the galaxy 200 years before the Phantom Menace. Again, this is from Star Wars: The High Republic. Is really, really, really impressive. Here's a picture of him from StarWars.com. He's a very, very cool looking. For some reason, when I was reading The High Republic, I pictured him as like a Weequay, or I pictured him like Hondo. Like I heard Hondo's voice, but like a sinister, evil Hondo in my mind. But Marchion Ro is awfully, awfully cool. Awfully cool. And yes, it is Battlefront 2. Thank you, Mason, for clarifying that. All right, we've got a lot of great ones here. Let's see what everybody has. Mary also has Marchion Ro. I might be pronouncing it wrong. I just listened to Charles Soule say it earlier. Charles was on the show a couple weeks ago. I was re-listening to that interview. I believe he said Marchion Ro. So, I guess because I'm on the 3rd book, these are on the forefront of my mind. Mary, I agree. I totally agree. So that's really cool. Minta's number 5 is Savage Opress. He actually wasn't a Sith. He was an intense character with his raw power and rage. Yeah, that's a good one. I love the look of Savage Opress. And that kind of ushered in the fact that we're getting more stuff from the world of Star Wars. That's, of course, brought in Maul eventually, and pretty cool stuff. Pretty cool. Josh, you do not have to apologize, buddy. I'm very, very glad to have you here. I hope you come every single week. So please don't apologize at all. Jason's number 5, General Grievous, or as my 4-year-old daughter calls him, the Chicken Man. Vicious and without morals, conscience, or honor. Ooh, great description. Great description. We're going to be talking a lot about General Grievous tonight for sure. Let's see. Aaron, did I miss your number 5? I want to make sure I didn't miss anything. Daniel's getting the snow tonight. Yes, we've had snow, I think, for like 9 hours in a row. It's just crazy. Crazy stuff. All right, let's see what else we have. Rachel's number 5, Marchianro. Also, I really liked Light of the Jedi, and I'm really excited to see where the story goes. I thought it was interesting and unique. Exactly, he's very interesting, very unique, and it's pretty neat to have a new character in Star Wars. It doesn't feel like a recycled hodgepodge of previous characters we've seen before. It's a very fresh take, so kudos to the team for that. 5 for Tyler, Cad Bane, such a smooth, charismatic villain, plus he has the coolest hat in the galaxy. I like Cad Bane a lot. He's one of my favorite bounty hunters, but I didn't put him on this list. I don't really know why. I mean, he's clearly a villain, but he's more of a villain for hire, so I didn't put him on mine, but I love him too. Tyler, he's great. He's so cool. He is so cool. All right, let's see. Aaron's number 5, Kira / Krennic / Sebulba. Whoa, that is a 3-way tie. Wow, we haven't had too many 3-way ties in Star Wars. That's pretty wild. Kira, I guess, is a villain, but I don't think of her as a villain. But that's fair. And yes, Mason said Battlefront 2. That's what I meant to say. And number 5 for Jamie is Palpatine. Certainly won't be the last we hear of Palpatine on this list, I would think. But Palpatine's a great one. Daniel says, Cad Bane, this guy has all the moves. Yeah, Mason. Minta Mason is giving you props for your pick. I love it. I thought you would like that she brought up Savage Opress. He's a great one. Carter's Asajj Ventress, awesome mark, and the Legends version is even more fierce. That's true. That's true. And you and I will have to talk about what actually happens to Asajj Ventress at the end of her arc, because it's pretty great. Number 5 for Brian. Brian, welcome to the show. Brian says Director Krennic. He's very charismatic and loved his arc in the books and Rogue One. I love Krennic too. He's great. Great acting. Aaron, number 5 has been taken over by my honorable mentions. Okay, that makes sense. No problem at all. All right, let's go ahead and jump into our number 4 of our favorite villains. Number 4 here, for me, is General Grievous. We were just talking about Grievous. I love Grievous. I've always loved the look of him. I've always liked the design. I love the voice by Matt Wood. And I first was drawn to him when we had Tartakovsky's Clone Wars, before the Clone Wars was a part of the canonical universe. But he's just a great figure. Yes, I know he runs away and blah, blah, blah. But he's really cool and sinister. And when he's done well, he's almost like a Terminator type. And he's pretty cool. Mason's number 4 is also General Grievous, by the way. Let's see what other people have here. Let's see. Josh, Evil Corrin from the Heiress. Just kidding. Haha, nice. And his number 5 is Maul. Sam Witwer and Ray Park kind of have a General James Earl Jones and David Prowse dynamic. Bringing the voice and the other the physicality. Yes, for sure. Let me get that back here. Witwer is so threatening. You can tell Maul is just the same. So mad all the time. You got it. Ray Park is an excellent performer and natural with a lightsaber. Really cool. They got him for Clone Wars Season 7. You had to do that motion capture. I remember they announced that at Celebration. That was great stuff. Tyler's number 4, Darth Maul. He was always a great villain from Episode 1, but Filoni kicked him up that extra level in the Clone Wars and Rebels. I'm always invested when he's on screen. Yes, a lot of people love Darth Maul. Jason's number 4, Grand Admiral Thrawn. I really liked him in Zahn's novels, and I'm really glad they brought him into Rebels. Remember in Celebration Europe when they announced that he was coming and they were writing a new Thrawn, or that Timothy Zahn was writing a new Thrawn trilogy? Man, that was an exciting time. That was really, really fun. 4 for Mary is Cad Bane. You never knew what he had up his sleeve. It's true. And just the greatest voice. Just a cool voice. Jamie's number 4, Snoke. Surprised to see him gone so quickly. Wow, interesting. I'm glad that you brought him up. I never really resonated with Snoke, but I do appreciate his role in the films. Aaron's number 4. I know it's a little early considering his Rogue One scenes and animated versions, but Vader. Yes, Darth Vader. I have heard of him. He may show up on my list, so that's a good one, Aaron. Of course, Darth Vader, the classic. James, welcome, James. He says, Cad Bane, I can do his voice really good, and I own a figure of him. I also loved him in Clone Wars. Great villain, wish we could see more of him. I do too. Wouldn't it be great if he showed up in, like, Mandalorian or something? Oh, man, that'd be awesome. Carter's number 4, Marchion Ro. If I ever say it the same way twice, that would be amazing. Perfect villain, true evil. Can't wait to see how his story ends. I agree. I think he's really captivating. 4 for Daniel, the Inquisitor in Rebels. The guy gives me the chills every time. Those piercing eyes and teeth. Yes, the Grand Inquisitor, voiced by Jason Isaac, is really, really good stuff. I love it. All right, let's go into number 3. Number 3 of your favorite Star Wars villains. My number 3 is just Stormtroopers. Now, there's nothing particularly special about Stormtroopers character-wise. They're just the same, right? And yes, they're bad aims and blah, blah, blah. But I just love that look. That Stormtrooper armor is so iconic and so quintessential Star Wars. I love it. And every time they're on screen, whether they're in Clone Wars or Rebels or The Mandalorian or anything Star Wars related, it just puts a smile on my face, and it puts me in that headspace of being a kid seeing this film for the first time. And, Stormtroopers are just iconic. Mason's number 3 is Maul. Mason definitely loves Maul or Darth Maul for sure. All right, let's see. Jason, Daniel, my son, mentioned this afternoon. Nice choice. Excellent. Yes, I'm so glad. Brian's number 4, Moff Gideon. We haven't seen his entire hand of cards, but he is very cunning. He's in one of my honorable mentions. I like Moff Gideon too. I think he's really compelling. Amazing acting there as well. Tyler's number 3, Vader. You don't get more iconic than Vader. While he may not be number 1 on my list, he's easily one of the greatest villains of all time. I agree. And for my money, he is the best on-screen villain of all time. But he is so cool. So, yeah, good choice, Tyler. Josh's number 4 is Darth Sidious. The movies, shows, and everything else all rolled into this guy into an excellent villain. Loved him in the prequels, Clone Wars, Rebels, and the OG trilogy. Not sold on him, the idea of him being in Episode 9, but Ian did a great job. And when he talks about it, let me see, sorry that popped off. And whenever he talks about it, he sounds so happy and you can't help but smile. And Ian McDiarmid is awesome. He was great in the movie, even though I didn't really want him to show up. I think he was way too creepy, personally. But he's great. Ian McDiarmid is great. If you go back and listen to my story about going to the Hollywood premiere of Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker, he was very charming at the party, at the cast party, and he was awesome. He was friendly to my wife. He was just very personable. We talked a little Shakespeare. He's just a cool dude, really cool dude. Number 3 for Minta, Moff Gideon, cold and calculating, and shows you at the top of his game until the end of season 2. True. Be interesting to see what he has up his sleeve. Aaron says number 3, Boba Fett. Is he still a villain? Well, I think he's still a villain. I mean, he murdered Bib Fortuna, good, bad, or indifferent, and then took over apparently as the new crime boss on Tatooine. Who knows? We'll find out more about that in December. But I would say he's still a villain. He's sort of he's definitely not the archetypal villain. He's certainly not a good guy, but he's sort of that morally ambiguous gray character. Now that we've seen him in the Mandalorian, I'd say. Carter, Lord Vitiate, Vitiata, I can't pronounce that one apparently, of the Eternal Empire, a movie about the Eternal Empire would likely become Emmy favorite Star Wars. I mean, you mean my favorite Star Wars movie, probably. Good. I gotta be honest, I've never heard of that character. It's actually a Star Wars character I've never heard of, so that is interesting. You're gonna have to tell me more about that at school, Carter. Jason, Maul, I was really disappointed when he died in Episode 1. I was really happy when they brought him back. Maul or Fett or Snoke or any of these guys, it never really bothered me when they disappeared because they're not the main villain. It just kind of propels someone else to the forefront. But I get what you're saying, and I did think it was sort of ironic that he died. But at least he had a really great fight scene, so that's good. And of course, when he came back, people were really fired up. Gabe, welcome to the show, man. Gabe says number 3 for me is Thrawn. He's a classic evil mastermind, but also man of honor in a way. It's true. That's good, Gabe, and it's great to have you here. Rachel's 3 is Maul because of what Dave Filoni and Sam Witwer do with his character in the animated shows. Yes, they certainly added a lot of depth to him. There's no doubt about that. Excuse me. Mary says Thrawn, he's so calculating, logical, and no nonsense. Really appreciate him more now that I started reading the Zahn novels. Well, good. Mary, that's awesome. And I'd be interested to see what you think about those books. Jamie's number 3 is also Thrawn. First introduction to a villain outside the original trilogy in the Timothy Zahn books. Yep. Those first books, a buddy of mine is going through Timothy Zahn's first trilogy, Heir to the Empire trilogy, and he's loving them. It's cool to hear the perspective from someone who's not familiar with them as well. James, number 3, Count Dooku. Oh, I forgot Count Dooku. Oh, rats. James says Count Dooku just seeing a 70-year-old besting Anakin in episode 2 and throughout the Clone Wars series, not so much in episode 3. I love Count Dooku. I don't know why I didn't put him on there. So, rats. Rats. I probably would have put him in number 3 now that I think about it. Oh, well. Number 3 for Daniel is General Grievous. A great choice. Maybe going back to clean up the streets. Yeah, maybe. Maybe. Cody. Hello, Cody. Cody says, I love Darth Maul's appearance and skill was awesome. Yeah, he is definitely one to watch. Every number 1 better be Jar Jar. He's the reason the Empire happened. Oh, boy. Did you try that last week too, James? Number 3 for Brian. Exar Kun. He followed the standard archetype of a Jedi who wanted more and took his destiny into his own hands and followed directly to the dark side. Yep, that's a good choice. Josh, Kylo Ren. Adam Driver is such an amazing actor. His character was pretty cool in The Force Awakens, and his redemption in Rise was very good. Definitely one of the best parts of it, but The Last Jedi performance takes the key for me. Especially after the throne room fight, where he tells Rey she's a nobody. Really wish they had kept that plot thread, but that's for a different day and doesn't ruin The Last Jedi. No, The Last Jedi is great, I think. Every now and then, Josh says he finds himself quoting him, No, you're still holding on, let go. Hey, it's Brett Parrott. Hello, Mr. Parrott. Hey, congratulations on your snow day tomorrow, my friend. A remote day, whatever, but it's good to have you on the show, of course. Brett is a great friend of mine and a supporter of the CWK Alliance, so good to have you here, my friend. All right, let's go ahead and jump into your number 2 of your favorite Star Wars villains. My number 2 is Palpatine. Palpatine is extremely Shakespearean. He's very sinister. The Machiavellian rise to power that he exhibits, has always been fascinating to me, particularly in Revenge of the Sith. I felt like Ian McDiarmid deserved an Oscar nomination for his role in that film. It's breathtakingly good, especially that slow burn in the opera scene. It's so good. He's just great. Don't love him in The Rise of Skywalker, but we already talked about that. Minta's number 2, Thrawn. He's incredibly intelligent, and you can tell what the opponent is like just by looking at their artwork, making him downright terrifying. Oh, that's a good description. I really like that. Rachel's number 2, Kylo Ren. I love how dynamic his character arc is and how he's so conflicted. Yes, and it does take a while for that to happen, but when it does, it really does, doesn't it? Number 2 for Tyler, 2003 Grievous. The Grievous ruined the canon one for me. You know, I understand that. I'll never forget seeing the Battle of Hypori for the first time when Grievous taking out all those Jedi. Yep, and the Tartakovsky Clone Wars second season. He's brilliant. He's so good. in that. Aaron's number 2 is Thrawn. Just started working with the original books too. Kind of finding it a bit slow, but to be honest, that's all right. Don't worry, and I promise you it's worth it. But based on Rebels and what I've seen so far or read about his character, Thrawn had to be near the top. Could easily switch to my top 2 now. Hey, I understand. Very much about that. That's great. Jason says Darth Vader number 2, the most iconic villain ever. Wow, and that's your number 2. I wonder what your number 1's going to be. I'm excited to see. Mary's number 2, Maul, especially the reincarnated Maul, which they would continue his story after Solo. I do too. That would be fun, actually. And Robert is here. Robert, good to have you, my friend. Robert says Thrawn, love the original book, so happy to see him back. Mason's number 2 is Jango Fett. I expected number 2 to be, or Jango Fett to be Mason's number 1, but someone else has replaced Jango Fett right now. So we'll get to that very soon. Josh's number 2 is Vader. No shortage of quality Vader content. Original trilogy, Rebels, Charles Soule, Jason Aaron, Star Wars Run, Lords of the Sith by Paul Kemp. Thrawn Alliance is Rogue One. Historian George Mann's Dark Legends. Heck, Clone Wars of all places. Yep. I mean, Vader. He's great. Number 2 for Brian is Kylo Ren. I fell in love with the mask and the crossguard lightsaber. That costume's pretty iconic. It's pretty great. It's hard to make a new big bad in Star Wars that sort of could hold his own to Darth Vader as far as design-wise. And Kylo Ren definitely meets that, and I love the crossguard lightsaber as well. There's a reason I bought that one at Galaxy's Edge. Gabe's number 2 is Abeloth from Legends. Her evil is shown in deeply, intimately betraying Luke was chilling, and that the core of her person is a dark side entity with loneliness really redefined my understanding of the dark side. That is a great choice. A great choice. I love that. Aw, Mason says I'm the best daddy. I will take that. I will take that, buddy. I love you. Thank you so much. Number 2 for Daniel. Lord Sidious / Palpatine, tragic character, so into himself he is blinded. By the way, gotta love his Senate robes. Those are cool. Yeah, I love him. And I love when he fights, when he first ignites that red lightsaber and avenges Sith. That is blockbuster stuff. Blockbuster stuff. Carter's got a great one. Moff Gideon Hurge, personal fan of Giancarlo Esposito. His character is cold, calculated, and ruthless. Yes. Great call, Carter, and well said. He is awesome. I really want to see what they're going to do with him because he is very powerful. Again, I said number 2 for Mason was Django. So let's go into number 1 of our favorite top Star Wars villains. All right, number 1 for me. Darth Vader is my favorite Star Wars character. He's the most complex. Palpatine is Shakespearean. Vader takes it to another level. He's just tremendous. I love Darth Vader. The look, the sound, the lightsaber, James Earl Jones, David Prowse. Everything about Darth Vader is just very powerful. And that's why I'm very at peace with there not being any more Darth Vader stories. Although they're obviously going to keep churning them out because, people love them. And that's great. And I'm glad that you do. But to me, Vader, like the shark in Jaws, less is more. That's just my opinion. But what we have of him is great. I'm never going to complain about new Darth Vader stories. But I'm very at peace where his arc is. And I love him. I think he's great. Mason's number 1. Iden Versio, before she turns, of course, to the light. But Iden Versio, I said at the top of the show that if you ever play Mason, he's using Boba Fett. Look out. If he uses Iden Versio, I played him today. I was using Yoda, Obi-Wan, Anakin, Luke, Leia, everybody. Han Solo. Boom! Destroy me every time. So if you ever play online with Mason in Star Wars Battlefront 2, if he's Iden Versio, just get out or run away or I don't know. He's pretty good. I'm not just saying that because I'm a proud dad either. All right, let's see what other people have. Jason's number 2 is someone else that never gets the credit he deserves. Pong Krell. Yay, some Pong Krell. Love, that's great. The way he treats his clones and later kills several clones with no problem just goes to show how much more tragic Order 66 turned out to be. That's true. It's no wonder so many clones went through with Order 66. Sorry, the thing bounced out here. Also, the sound of his sabers is very cool. Yes, great one, James. A great call. Number 2 for Jamie is Maul. Even though his time was brief, he was, for me, our first villain in the prequels after a 16-year wait. You got that right. That's a good choice. Number 1 for Tyler is Kylo Ren. I can see where people don't care for him, but he still hits all the right notes for me. His arc in Last Jedi is incredible. It's true. I agree. I think he's very convincing. I've been very at peace with him being the head villain in episode 9 and being more about internal conflict. That would have been interesting. But either way, what we got was pretty great too. Rachel's number 1 is also Vader. I don't know where to begin. There's so much to say. Simply iconic. And like so many people, I grew up watching him. Yes, absolutely. Darth Vader all the way, man. Minta's number 1. There was a 3-way tie, but it came down to Grievous, Maul, and Vader. All 3 are incredible in their own ways. They all have suffered some sort of tragedy that led them to become the villains we know today. That's true. I have no problem with that for sure. We know the least about Grievous. I wonder if we'll ever get more story about him. That would be really fun. So I look forward to that someday, if that ever happens. Number 1 for Jason is Darth Sidious / Palpatine, the personification of evil. Definitely. Carter says Vader. Also, I love a movie about his first years after Order 66, between wanting to bring Padme back, learning his new identity as Vader. Love to see the conflict behind the mask. That's a great one. And Carter, I highly recommend the first 25 issues of Darth Vader from Marvel Comics. I can't think of the name of the... Kieran Gillen. Kieran Gillen, I interviewed him for StarWars.com. But those first 25 issues, he did a 25-issue arc, are amazing. Then Charles Soule did a second round of 25 of Vader, also great. And there's some stuff there about that conflict that I think you really would like. You definitely would like it. Gabe's number 1, Sidious. He's unparalleled. Indeed. I like that. Aaron says, number 1, nostalgia, Vader. His martial arts, Darth Maul. His martial arts and his overall fight scenes just wowed me as a kid in the 90s. He had a weird return in Clone Wars, to be fair, but once he got back on his feet, he definitely came out. Yeah, he's great. And he's awesome in Rebels. He's really awesome in Rebels. Number 1 for Mary is Vader. This had to be Vader. He's the original. With the Clone Wars stories, it gives us so much more of a satisfying ending, which makes his fall that much more tragic. Also makes his redemption at the end satisfying. Definitely. Number 1 for Daniel is Thrawn. He's so genius and has buried himself into the art of war. Go Blue. Oh, that's cool. I like that he's so high on your list, Daniel. Number 1 for Brian is Maul. Watched Phantom Menace trailer over 100 times when it came out. Being well trained in the Jedi arts with a double-bladed lightsaber helped him put it over the top. When he first ignites that double-bladed red lightsaber and we saw him with his 10 horns, as we learned last week from our trivia, I was blown away. I could not imagine anything about this character. And then eventually it leaked out that his name was Darth Maul, and I was like, wow. I mean, that was definitely a wow moment for sure. Oh, yes, Mason, we know you're good at Battlefront too. Yes, we know. Or I know, because you beat me plenty of times. Josh has Thrawn. In addition to being my favorite villain, he's also my favorite character, period. Wow. Part of what makes him so interesting is that he isn't really a villain, he's just an antagonist. Not to mention his sheer brilliance. I've read and loved every Thrawn novel, at least all the Zahn ones. I can't really pick a favorite one because they're all great. Well, you know what? And then Rebels is my favorite Star Wars series. I love Rebels too. I've always kind of had a quibble with how Thrawn is sometimes portrayed. Some of the cold-blooded stuff he does in Rebels, that feels out of character to what he's like in the books, even though Zahn had a part in both. But Josh, I'd be interested to see what you think about that. James' number 1 is Vader. Since I first got into Star Wars in the 90s, I love Vader just the way he is. A monster and shows no emotions. As a kid, I always wondered why he needed the suit. I thought it was just to make him look cool. And now you know, of course, and yeah, he's great, obviously. Robert, Boba Fett, ever since 80, I always liked his look and the mystery of his character. Can't wait for the new series. Yeah, before you know, we'll be doing our top 5 things we love about each episode of the Book of Boba Fett. Won't that be fun? Minta's honorable mention is Kylo Ren, great skills and demands respect. Mason's honorable mention is Bosk. My honorable mention is apparently Count Dooku. I can't believe I forgot Count Dooku. Josh's honorable mention is Moff Gideon. Carter says, Vader's so iconic that when anyone hears Anakin's betrayal, they immediately think of Anakin's transformation. Yep, it's true. It's very true. Very true. Awesome. Well, great, everybody. Thank you so much for sharing your top 5 favorite Star Wars villains. There's certainly a lot of them to choose from. A great, great list for sure. Next week, I don't know what I was thinking, but next week's top 5 should have been the one I had for today. Either way, it'll be worth it to wait another week for it so you can think of it through. But next week's is going to be top 5 Star Wars couples. This was inspired by some of the pictures and things I saw over the weekend on Valentine's Day of the different couples in Star Wars. There's a lot of great ones. So next we're going to do our top 5 favorite Star Wars couples. So feel free to get your list for that. James says honorable mentions for me are Jango and Boba, Ventress, Grievous, Maul, Kylo, and not really a villain but more of a jerk, Watto. What do you mean? What's wrong with Watto? That was my Watto impression / I need to get a drink of water because I've been talking for a long time. All right. Thank you so much, everybody. Again, be sure next week to join us as we talk about our top 5 favorite Star Wars couples. Mary says Dooku, Grievous, Gideon are all honorable mentions. Mita says, aw, with the hard eyes. So she's excited about this topic. And I'm sure a lot of you all have some great ones as well. Let's go ahead and jump into Ask Dan Z. So, by the way, you probably noticed, or maybe you didn't, that we were trying to run a campaign for the Cwk Alliance. Boom, for the Cwk Alliance beanie. That didn't work. We didn't get the minimum orders, but that's okay. You know, things happen. We'll just try it, sometime in the future. Try to do a different one. But, It's okay. A lot of people got these hats. These are great. I'm sure we'll do other CWK Alliance things as well. People keep asking me what is the CWK Alliance? The CWK Alliance is our Patreon page. It's basically a place where you can go and you get exclusive access to our podcast, CWK Pour-Over, hosted by myself, Tom Gross, and Corey Clubb. This week we close out our top 5 favorite albums. So it's an exclusive podcast. There's a video portion depending on your level of contribution, and there is an audio podcast version. They're both weekly. They're great fun. We talk about Star Wars. We talk about lots of other pop culture topics, and there's some behind the scenes stuff. We do announcements there as well. But if you're a member of the CWK Alliance, then you get access to Pour Over and a lot of other really cool stuff as well. Let me get the Alliance logo up here for you. There it is. There's the white version. We've got an orange one and a black one as well. I'm really proud to be a part of the Alliance and all the great stuff that we have as a member of our Patreon page. If you're interested, be sure to check out www.coffeewithkenobi.com/CWK Alliance or patreon.com/coffeewithkenobi. Looks like we got some comments here. Let's bring these up. Gabe says, if you're curious about Revan, I'd say play Knights of the Old Republic. Those reading up on him is good too. He's an epic character. I've always heard, Gabe, that Darth Revan and all those books are just so awesome. So that's definitely something I need to check out at some point. So let's see. Josh says he was at peace with Thrawn being ruthless and rebels because, in his opinion, there's similar things in the books. And Harry as an officer executed and does other ruthless things. And again, that's true. And Ascendancy is still a hero, but Zahn throws in some things every now and then, and Thrawn is still the great Admiral we know. All right. I appreciate that. I appreciate your perspective for sure. All right. Tyler says, how much are you enjoying WandaVision right now? I think it's on track to be as good as The Mandalorian. You know what? I love WandaVision. And what WandaVision does well is what The Mandalorian did really well too. All of us are hooked in because we're just into this genre stuff. But like my wife, for example, she loves watching WandaVision, which is super great to me. Actually made her want to watch all the Marvel movies. So yay to WandaVision for that. That's great. It led to some fun rewatching over the weekend of some of the older Marvel movies. We're going to work our way up. But I think WandaVision is great. I think every week it gets better and better and stronger. And I love that you can be steeped in the Marvel films, or you can know nothing about the Marvel films and still get a lot of enjoyment out of the series. And the fact that it's, a slow burn. We only get it weekly instead of a big dump of all the episodes at once. I love that as well. Let's see. Jason wants to know, have we ever done a top 5 for John Williams? If not, it'll be fun, given his recent birthday. You know what? We did top 5 Star Wars soundtracks. We did that, I don't know, a couple of months ago. We could probably break down each of the individual albums. Actually, for Pour Over, Corey and Tal and I were talking about doing a John Williams show. So maybe on a future Coffee with Kenobi CWK Pour Over, we'll do that as well, too. Excuse me. Mita says, I remember there was a graphic novel that has a few legend stories for Revenge of the Sith. One of them with Grievous' backstory about how he went from a war general to a Jedi killer. Oh, I have not read that, Mita, but if you ever find that out, be sure to let us know in the CWK Cafe. That would be really neat. My favorite Star Wars series, TV stuff, it's definitely Rebels. It's not even close. And I love Clone Wars. I love Mandalorian, but there's something special about Star Wars Rebels, the characters, the cast, what they did with Star Wars, and that's my favorite era in the timeline of Star Wars anyway. So I just love Rebels. I think Rebels is great. Tyler says the same story with my wife. It also helps that Wanda is one of her favorite characters. Oh, isn't that great? And then you had that extra fun thing to share with each other, too. Weird question, but remember Satine's nephew from the Clone Wars? Heard a theory that he's not really her, and Obi-Wan's... Oh, you know what? I don't even know, based on what you're saying. To be honest, James, I don't do the rumor thing. I mute all kinds of stuff every day. I don't do speculation because I end up being disappointed if things don't happen the way that I hear. Like all of our fans and everybody in the Star Wars community have such great ideas and great theories and great ideas about how things could shape up. And I try to tune that out because I end up liking that sometimes more than what actually happens. And I don't like to be disappointed with Star Wars. I like it to be my escape. So I don't do rumors or speculation. So I'm not sure. But if other people want to jump in and weigh on that, feel free, because that could be very interesting. What I do know is that typically rumors are not accurate and things are really locked down. And a lot of the things you've heard, if you look back over history of the sequel trilogy and Mandalorian, most of the rumors end up being just not accurate, and so I typically stay out of those waters. But again, other people love it, and more power to them. I think that's great stuff. Carter caught up with WandaVision. It's awesome, right? The last one was so exciting. James says, favorite Black Series figure you own? Mine is the Episode 7 Kylo Ren with a mask. Ooh, that's good. I like that one. I like the Empire Strikes Back Han Solo because it really looks a lot like Harrison. I love the Mandalorian ones. I love the Luke Empire Strikes Back one. I really like the Hondo one. Let's see. There he is. I've got stuff all over the place, but I really like this one. The Hondo with the Galaxy's Edge, and this one I got, I believe, thanks to Tyler Pompa for picking that up for me. But yeah, it's great. I love that it's got a unique package. It's got the Galaxy's Edge design to it as well, but the Black Series is really, really nice, obviously. I mean, obviously everybody knows that, but there's some great stuff. I mean, my favorite is still the 3 3/4 inch figures, but the Black Series has got some beautiful sculpts as well. No, not your bad at all, brother. I totally respect and appreciate that, and I love that you love that. I think that's very important. All these things we have that get the Star Wars conversation going, I think, are great. Are you a reader of Marvel Comics besides Star Wars? I would very much appreciate a recommendation. Honestly, as I mentioned earlier, the Vader, Kieran Gillen, first 25 issues is great, and Charles Soule's Vader is great. The first run of Jason Aaron's Star Wars is good. I like the Kanan series a lot. It's just a mini series. I really liked Charles Soule's Poe Dameron. There's definitely some unique things and some weirder type stuff too, but I really like that. It's fun. But definitely the two Vader series are really, really good stuff as well. So that would be my recommendation for sure. And Dr. Aphra is excellent. A great, great character. All the Dr. Aphra stuff is really, really good stuff. Awesome. Well, if you have any more questions, it looks like we're going to go ahead and wrap up the show. Let's cue the music. There we go. So be sure, by the way, to join us next week to come up with your list of your top 5 favorite Star Wars relationships. There's certainly a lot of them there. I'm talking about actual relationships that actually happened in the shows, in the animated stuff, Mandalorian, all kinds of stuff. There's a lot of good choices out there. Figures you'd like to be made into the Black Series line. Krell would be great. More Ahsoka, we actually have a chance to purchase her where they don't get swooped up right away because they're exclusives would be great. You know what? It's not really Star Wars, really, but I'd love to see an Indiana Jones Black Series figure. That would be awesome. So that would be my hope, Hasbro, for sure. Speaking of Hasbro, this week on Coffee with Kenobi, I've got a great interview that I sat down with Hasbro and talked to them about the new 50th anniversary Lucasfilm stuff and a bunch of other Star Wars related topics. So be sure to look to Coffee with Kenobi this week. Mary, I hope you have a great week and stay safe and warm as well. I've got a snow day / remote day today tomorrow, so that's exciting. It'll be fun tonight. Do friendships count? Oh, sure, why not? Let's do that. Why not? I think that'd be great. Tyler says, thanks for the fun discussion. Have a good week and stay warm. Thanks, Tyler, and I'll definitely reach out to you pretty soon so I can get that information to you. I think you'll be very excited. Again, thank you so much, everybody. Hope you stay safe and warm as well. Speaking of safe and warm, if you are someone who is thinking about going on vacation and you feel comfortable sure to go to Penguin and Random House Audio and get Light of the Jedi or Into the Dark or A Test of Courage. They are excellent books with the sound effects, the acting, the music, and them bringing these books to life is just really, really fun stuff. Well, thanks again, everybody. Have a great week and weekend. And remember, this is the podcast you're looking for. Have a great one, everybody. Thanks again so much for joining me. See you next time.